Hello, you marvelous people. How are you all? Today I'm talking about the ascension. I'm talking about the rapture. I'm talking about the bifurcation. And I don't even know if that's a word. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So, in a chat with one of my Spanish friends, we were doing a video in Spanish, she asked me the question. She said, have the emissaries ever talked about all these past civilizations that we see that, that are lying about? Things like the mud flood and the resets and all of that. And I said, they have, but I'll do it again because I can't remember what they said. Okay, and so I wanted to ask them, and in fact I did. I wanted to, and I did, and that's always a good way of going about it, isn't it? So I asked them, what about all these past civilizations? And they told me a story. Now, I want you to take this as a story. This is a metaphor, perhaps. This is what they told me. They said, the idea that this is a game that we're in. The game is this, that the baddies get us to think that there's nothing more than this, and that this is just an accident. That's their job. It's to take us away from God, to make us believe that God doesn't exist and that we are meaningless specks of shit in a big, specky, shitty area. Okay? That's kind of what the game is. But on the other side, the game is that we remember who we are, that we return to God. Okay? So that's the game. And what the emissary said was that the things that are lying about, signalling past civilization, signalling all kinds of weird stuff like Tartaria that was hidden away, just disappeared. What's going on? They said that they are clues in this game. Like Cluedo. These are clues in the game. And the reason that we've got clues is because the idea is that the clues are going to help us to wake up. So the baddies are trying to hide it all. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. And then the goodies have put in place all of these clues. And, we've talked about them for years. Talking about, what they could mean. And all of those have been always poo-pooed. Have you noticed? They've been poo-pooed. A lot of poo-pooing going on around everything. I mean, even the most, basic, like the pyramids, stuff like that. Poo-pooing on all sides. In fact, the real history has been hidden. And they've created this fake reason why the pyramids are there. I think most people know that the pyramids are a lot older than they say they are, etc., etc. So then we get into the interesting bit, which is, so I'm talking to the emissaries about these hidden things, but they're gone, it's like bits and pieces of them. And they said, that's because this timeline is not as long as you think. And lengthwise in terms of it running. And they said, so this is a metaphor, virtual reality timeline. And within this timeline, all the clues have been placed, but this timeline's not very long. So it's our job in this short period of time. And obviously that's what do we mean by short? Lifetimes, but I don't know how long it is. They don't tell me that. But what they're saying is that all these clues have been put into place in this virtual reality game, and our job is to spot them, wake up, and return to God. That is, in a nutshell, the simplistic story of life, the world, and everything. However, I said to them, all right, so if this is a short timeline, what they mean is it's not like a, forever from the very beginning. It's just like a timeline that we've chosen to be on. And I said, so what happens at the end when the timeline ends? And they said, well, their words exactly, you will all be taken up. Okay. Whatever that means. Taken up. Ascended. But I said, hang on a minute though, because isn't there supposed to be some kind of split? And they said, yeah, long before the end of this timeline, we've got to go. Remember, we've been in the dark. We've got to go into the light, and we've got to enjoy the light a bit. All right. I don't know how long we're going to enjoy the light, but I think it's going to be a while. And so they said, what's going to happen is there's going to be and their word, you see, now this exists in Spanish, and I don't know if it exists in English. I should have looked it up. A bifurcation. I think it's every time I say it, it sounds better. It happens that way, doesn't it? They said there's a bifurcation going to happen where we're going to split. And the people that do not want to or are not ready, but this impression was that the people who don't want to, they're going to stay. And the people who want to are going to go. And we're going to go off, and we're going to go off to our paradise, and it's going to be beautiful and all of that. So I said to them, in that split, how does it happen? Do we have to die to go there? Or what's going to happen? And they were a little bit willy-nilly about the details. Isn't that a surprise? They said, we don't quite know the logistics of the split, how it's going to happen. But there's going to be a split. But the sense I got was it wasn't a death split. But you see, I don't know whether to the people who stay, we die. And then to the people who go, they die, the people who are staying. I don't know. Like, the perception. Don't know. And they kind of didn't want to go into that. It's not their remit, by the way. So there's going to be the split off. And off we're going to go to a jolly nice time. And, well rewarded and well deserved, I think. And they stay. So I said, well, okay. But in the story in the Bible, for example, Revelation, there's a story that Jesus comes back for those that have been thrown into Gehenna. And he brings them out. And they said, yeah, absolutely. Those people who stay eventually will come and join us. Now, when I'm hearing this, right, I'm thinking this timeline's a lot longer than, what we might imagine. This is a fairly lengthy timeline, albeit it's a short timeline in the scheme of things. But we've got to go and do what they were saying, which is start to build the paradise. That's our job, to start to build, to heal the earth, to cleanse, to create a paradise. And honestly, it sounds like the Jehovah's Witnesses, doesn't it? It really does. But that's what they say. But it's not like paradise where there are lions and lambs wandering around and people are doing strokey. I don't think it's like that. What I mean is we're going to make this earth is a paradise. When I walk out to the countryside, I'm in paradise. It's beautiful. All that we've got to do is make more of it. That's kind of the story, yeah. So no, I'm not being like a Jehovah's Witness. Would you like to live in paradise forever with the lions and the lambs? No. So they're going to come. Right? After a while, they're going to come and join us, the people who stayed behind, when they've learned the lessons, when they understand the folly of their ways. And they've got to come and they've got to make amends and also to heal themselves and to forgive themselves and everything. Remember, we can forgive very easily. We forgive very easily. Especially imagine we're in a paradise earth, like everything's beautiful and people come back and we go, hey, no worries. Don't worry about it. We understand. It's them forgiving themselves. That's the issue. That they have to forgive themselves. So that's their job. And then we're all together like mates in paradise. And then at the end, that'll be over and we'll be taken up. Right. So timeline now explained. So there's a bifurcation. And then those people, the silly people who choose to stay, but hey, I'm saying that's me being judgmental. They've got a good reason to want to stay. They haven't done the work there. And then they're going to come. And then we're all going to be together. So that's the timeline. Pretty good. Where are we on that timeline? I have no flipping idea. But I get the sense that we're teetering toward the end bit of this particular section. We're getting toward the chaotic end bit. Definitely. However, lots has got to happen. Lots of things have got to happen. And what's this bifurcation? How is it going to be? I don't know. But very interesting. So there you are. That's what the emissary said about why all of these things are lying around. The clue is just to let you know there's something a lot bigger than this shit. Love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.